Today's review is Pet Sematary. This is also a Stephen King adaptation. Um, Now, this movie, I've always had kind of a love-hate relationship with it, because unlike with another Stephen King movie review I did, I reviewed the miniseries It. I did, in fact, read the book Pet Cemetery before seeing the movie, and it's always hit or miss when you read the book first, especially when you love the book first. And the book, I I love it. I mean, it's one of my favorite books actually. One of King's best for sure. Definitely one of his most emotionally involving horror stories. So it's a little beat up copy here, but I love this book. It's a great book. Immediately after watching the book, immediately after reading the book, like I gotta watch this movie. I gotta see the adaptation and see how they play it out. Movie was a little bit disappointing, which usually it would be immediately after watching the movie and comparing it to the book. You know what I mean? But uh, I've seen this movie three times. Twice, I think once on VHS, once on DVD, and now I have the Blu-ray in my collection. I just recently picked this up. They had this for sale at HMV actually, which is a pretty good price. I got it for $10, not bad. So I rewatched it recently, and I think it holds up in its own respects. It definitely gets the bullet points of the story. Stephen King himself, he adapted the novel to the screenplay, so it's nothing really wrong with the story itself or with the writing. And I think in the long run, it does have good effects, good, fairly convincing effects, even for the time. This is mid 80s, so the effects are practical, which again I always will praise practical effects in these kinds of movies because they're more convincing. Um, so I liked all that, but kind of the main problem I have with the movie is the general execution of the story. I mean, if the acting were better in this movie, if they got like legit actors, like really, high caliber actors, instead of who's in this, like the one guy, Dale Midkiff or whatever, and the chick from Star Trek. The credit where it's due. Fred Gwynn from the Munsters, he's great. Um, oh, there's a story about that, right? Oh, God, I love him in this movie. He's great. I'll give him that. I'll give this movie that. Um, but in particular, the leads, the two main characters, husband and wife, it is kind of a central story around them. Mainly the husband, the doctor character, who is played by Dale Midkiff. He's just, I don't think he's that good in the movie, to be totally honest with you. Not that I'm saying, I'm not going to go through a list of actors who I think would be better. Laundry list of actors at the time who would have done a better job, but apparently, I think I heard a rumor or like a little tidbit of information. Apparently, I think Bruce Campbell was in talks. Okay, I love Bruce Campbell. Maybe it would have been worse with him. But long and short of it is, I don't think the acting is that good, and it gives a very, very serious story and a very, very emotionally wrenching story a cheesier edge to it, which I didn't like. Too like oogity boogity instead of genuinely deep down in your heart wrenching kind of horror, which I think this kind of needed, which I did see with previous adaptations, like something like Carrie. That was really kind of deep seated horror, even though it's straight from the novel. Even The Shining, I know Stephen King didn't like it, whatever, but even so, those are like legit movies. Um, Carrie in particular, Oscar-nominated performances in that movie. The acting is key to tell the stories like this. So I think that's where it kind of fails. The main actor here, he's just really, really stale. You know, I know people criticize me for being monotonous, but this guy, he's in a coma in this movie, and the moral questions that this brings up about Okay, your pet dies. Are you going to put in the pet cemetery? It'll come back, but it won't be the same. What if a loved one dies? What if there's something more important? How far would you go? That's a real crucial dilemma that you need to see displayed in a performance, which I don't think they do here. Which is kind of sad that they didn't pull it off. Like, I'd be very welcome to see a remake of this movie. Um, so I think with that, I think with the acting, which is kind of and the general execution of the movie, which does have, I wouldn't say full on cheesy, but there are definitely cheesy aspects to it. Um, like with the ghost at the end who's following, like the whole ghost. I mean, the kid who gets, I forget his name, Farkas or something or other. The girl gets it wrong. Oh, and by the way, by the fucking way, the girl in this movie, the little girl who plays the daughter, um, she's horrible, horrible. Oh my god, top 10 most annoying kids in movies. She's up there, man. Oh my god, I couldn't believe, like, people wrote this movie. People set up auditions for actors. People put up a camera in front of this person. They filmed her and they thought, "Oh, that's good." Horrible child actor. But on the plus side, Miko Hughes. He's great. I mean, he's like 2 years old in this fucking movie. He outacts the main actor in the movie. He does a really good job. I mean, I think I've talked about him a little bit before, um, at least a little bit in my Wes Craven New Nightmare review. He was a fantastic younger actor. I mean, he's done a lot of. If you think about his career, I mean, what he did before puberty, I think a lot of people would be very jealous of in, their adult years. Like, what was he in? He was in this movie, he was in Pet Sematary, in Wes Craven's New Nightmare. He was in Apollo 13, Tom Hanks's son. He was in Full House. I love him in Full House. He's that little fucking brat kid. Oh, so good. What a great actor. And he grew up. He was on Boston Public too. He played that kid who got electrocuted and had magical powers. So he's Jesus, something like that. Anyway, I'm getting off the track here. Mika Hughes great as a little kid. The girl, whoever the hell she is, horrible. Maybe she was a producer's daughter or something. Got her into the movie. I don't know, but she's horrible. But if the acting were better in this movie, I know I've gone on a tangent here, but if the acting were better, and if it weren't so cheesy in certain aspects, like what I mentioned with the ghost, going, "Boo, don't go down there." Ooh, it's stupid. Um, if it were heightened up to like a more legitimate level, I think this would be a great horror film. I think it would be one of the absolute essential classics. Instead of what it is, which is a good movie. I mean, I'm not going to knock the movie. It's a good movie. It definitely is. Like, it's serviceable. I think it gets the job done, and it tells the story in a good way. And it does. It definitely meets the requirements of having the emotional impact that's necessary. But it's kind of the bare minimum. But I'll tell you one thing: the kite scene and the truck scene. Oh, heartbreaking. I get chills every time in that scene. So that's the one really great scene in the movie. I'll give you that. Yeah, and even something like the wife had the sister who had spinalgitis or whatever it was. Sorry, I'm not a doctor. I don't know these exact names of these diseases. She's like all crooked up, and she's like, it's everyone. It's well known that it's a man, because I guess they couldn't find a woman skinny enough. I don't know. Well, maybe that'd be a different thing today. But it has its creepy moments. It's good. I like Church the cat. He's a little asshole. I think whoever trained the cat in this movie, good job. And it brings up, the same kind of moral quandaries as the book does. So I think it does a good job. It's an okay movie. If I had to give it a rating, I'd say 6 out of 10. It's not bad. And Fred Gwynne, I think he's the best. He's really good in the movie. Yeah, I've seen better Stephen King adaptations, but I think in general, the fact that I read the book first, I think that soured it a little bit. So it's always kind of a cautious thing. It's not every single case. I know some people will say 99% of the time the book is better than the movie. Not always. but it depends, and it depends on the book, depends on the movie. But that's pretty much my review on Pet Sematary. Not a bad movie. Great to watch around this time of year. I would not, recommend to avoid it at all. Definitely check it out if it's on TV. If you can find the Blu-ray for the right price, definitely check it out. $10, I think it's a great price. Good to watch every Halloween time. And that's pretty much that. So, yeah, that's my review. Once again, I thank you for watching.